I want to say another thing.
Yes.
Usually we get a lot of comments.
Yeah.
And I don't see that we're getting a lot of comments today. And I have a comment on that.
Okay.
I think we're in the valley of fatigue.
We really are.
I think we're in the valley of fatigue. We've talked, when I say we, I mean the whole football establishment has talked draft till we're blue in the face.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, I am so bored with this draft.
Me too.
And it hasn't even happened yet.
Me too.
It happens in 9 days, Iggy?
Yes.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
I think when the draft happens, everything will explode. But I think you and I and our viewers are in the valley of fatigue. How much more can you talk about something that hasn't happened?
Hasn't happened. I know. I'm really sorry that we have to have the same topic every day. It's just that what else are you going to do? There's been no news for since they made the trade. I get emails saying the draft thing is really boring. You got to do something else. Okay, well, what do you suggest? I do the Cohn Zone every day. Every question is about the draft. So it seems to be what fans want to talk about. We did our best to talk about other rounds, other positions, other players, but I guess it's going to keep coming back to this quarterback until they make up their minds.
Well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
When you were talking way earlier in our broadcast today, you were talking about great athletes. They're like Muhammad Ali. Yes. Was Muhammad Ali a great athlete?
I would think so. He was, I mean, the way he looked, he was big, but he had quickness. 6'3", 220 something pounds with the quickness of a much smaller man. I mean, I would think that he probably had great hand-eye coordination, great reactions. I mean, God, great endurance. You could argue that he was, sport for sport, one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Okay. You could imagine him being a decathlete?
Yes. I mean, you don't know what he would have done with a ball or how he would have played football or basketball, but his hand-eye coordination was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, his feet were really quick. I feel like with feet like that, he could have played quarterback.
Interesting.
I don't know if he could throw, but
he would have been a good decision maker. That's for sure.
He'd probably be a pretty good decision maker. He'd be tough. He could take a hit. I don't know if he could throw a ball, but you could learn that. And maybe it's something he didn't do growing up, but he learned how to throw a punch. He could definitely do that. They're similar. The whole idea of throwing a punch and throwing a ball, it starts from your lower body. It's a whole torque motion. I don't know. I think he's one of the best, most athletic people I've ever seen. He didn't have punching power, but that still doesn't make him not athletic.
I agree. And he couldn't get away from a left hook.
Because of his technique. Because he was so athletic, he tried to back away from it. He thought he was so quick, and then he slowed down. But, he was more athletic than Joe Louis.
No question. Joe Louis would have been very slow and was very slow on his feet.
Yes.
And, when I used to discuss this, we used to argue, Bill Walsh and I, who would win, Joe Louis and Ali. I would say to him that Joe Louis would never get to Ali because Ali would be too quick. And Bill would say Ali would run away from Joe Louis. And if it weren't for Joe Louis trying, there would be no fight. When we went through that again and again and again, that was one of the very attractive things about Bill. Of course, he was the most brilliant football coach, but, he was very interested in boxing. And of course, I grew up being interested in boxing, and he just loved to talk about it. And he and I spent a lot of our time talking about boxing. And here's the other thing, Iggy. When I would write something he didn't like or he thought was hypercritical, unfair, all that, he didn't like confrontation. Bill didn't. So he'd never say, "Lowell, I'm pissed."
We have to talk.
Nothing ever. Steve Young would, but Bill wouldn't. Bill would come and say, "Hey, did you see that fight on Friday night?" And I knew it was his way of saying, "Let's get over it. Yeah. I didn't like what you did, but let's normalize relations." So he would do it through boxing.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
And it happened dozens of times.
Interesting. Anyway, well, maybe there'll be a boxing match on someday soon that you and I can watch together. It's been a while.
We used to watch the fights and score them.
We did. We
used to score a fight.
Yeah, I like doing that. Writing it down on the paper and doing the little lines and stuff. That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, Iggy knows how to score a fight.
Yeah.
You've been doing it since you were a little guy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. When I was little, you had all those fights saved on VHS, and you used to show me Hagler Hearns, those 3 rounds. Upside Downside says, what's your take on an ideal vet rookie distribution on the NFL roster, and how does that relate to a Super Bowl window? Man, that's a tough question. Whew. What would Bill say? Bill said you want a lot of young players, right? It's the lifeblood of your team.
He wouldn't want the old players for 2 reasons. He wouldn't want a preponderance for 2 reasons.
Yes.
One, they cost too much.
Yes.
Well, they're old and they're about to reach their sell-by date. And Bill always felt with older players, you were paying for what they had done, not for what they would do in the future. So he would want to get rid of them.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. He's always going to get younger
for a long time.
Yes. Yeah, he did. He had the theory to get rid of Montana, but never did. That was Seifert.
And he kept his offensive line for a long time. Keith Feinhorst, Randy Cross, John Ayers, Yeah.
Noah says, did Kyle confirm with Saleh he was taking a quarterback before trading up to 3? Seems like that is what happened. Pitts at 3, tried to get Hooper, tried with Reed. I got a lot of people thinking the Niners are going to go up and not take a quarterback. I love it. I love that they're all thinking the same way I am. But you don't really expect that, do you, Dad?
Not in a million years. I'll tell you, Iggy, if they traded all of those picks for a tight end, I don't care who the tight end is. Mike Ditka, I don't care. It would be a Shonda. That's what Lowell Cohn thinks.
I just have a feeling that no matter who they take, Dad, it's going to be a Shonda. What did they do? What did they do? Dad, what did they do? You tell him what a Shonda is. I don't know exactly that.
It's Yiddish. It means a shame. I used to act bad when I did. Who knows? I didn't do my homework, and my mom would say, it's a Shonda. And it means you should have shame. You just committed a shameful act.
Yeah.
I got a blot.
Shame to our entire family, right?
To the whole religion.
The whole religion. The entire tribe.
Yeah. To the whole tribe.